In this video, we're going to see if we can compare the Taurus GX4 carry to the P365XL and the Glock 48. What I'm not going to do is tell you which one you should buy, but the comparison is coming up. First things first, all of them have been safety checked, and there's actually nobody else here with me, so there's nobody behind the camera, so there's nothing to worry about there. So we're trying it a little bit different today. I kind of just set up the studio in my office instead of out in the kitchen with the fish tank behind me. I didn't want to set all that up, so today we're just going to do it in my office and maybe see if we can give you a little bit better of a top-down view. So we're trying a new angle out here. Let me know if you like it in the comments. So this is my Taurus GX4 carry. This is the 15 round Taurus GX4. I bought it in black because at the time of the purchase, the FTE color that they had did not come in the Toro version, which is the optics cut. So I did get the black, and then I Cerakoted it FTE myself. And no, I don't offer these services to other people, because if I messed up the Cerakote on my own guns, then that's one thing. But if I took money from people and then messed up the Cerakote, then that would be a problem. I'm also not an FFL, so I wouldn't be able to hold on to anybody's firearms. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but you can see right here I had a little bit of overspray. But other than that, the rest of the Cerakote turned out really good. I was trying to make sure that I got this area adequately enough and had a little bit of overspray run right there. But the rest of it turned out really good. Really happy with the way it turned out. So the Taurus GX4 carry comes standard with a 15 round magazine. The P365XL comes standard with a 12 round magazine. So we got 3 rounds less than the GX4 carry. This particular one, I bought it with the Romeo Zero, the polymer sight. I since moved that to a Taurus TX22 and put a Holosun 507K on here. And then we have the Glock 48. This is the MOS version. I robbed the red dot off from here to put it on my everyday carry P365. That one died, so I robbed it off from here to put it on there, and I just have not had the funds to replace this one. This comes standard with a 10 round magazine. So we got 10 rounds, 12 rounds, 15 rounds. Now I'm sure there's plenty of videos that go over the measurements and all that stuff. If you're looking for that, this isn't the place for it, because I'm not gonna have the measurements. I'm just gonna have basically a quick overview of what each of them look like. Side by side, they're all about the same thickness. So lengthwise, it looks like they're pretty dang close, going to the back of the tang anyway. If you just go to the back of the slide, then the 365XL is just a hair shorter. But if I were to stand the Glock 48 up on its barrel, it is longer. GX4 is just barely longer than the Glock 48, but holds 5 more rounds than the Glock 48. 365XL compared to the GX4 is quite a bit shorter. 15 rounds, 12 rounds. Now how about we make these just a little bit more equal. Take the 12 round mag out of the 365, and now we have a 15 round. And I have a PSA mag for the Glock 48. It's kind of got like this dual construction. It's metal back here, polymer front, which means you don't have to change out the mag catch, unlike the shield mags. And now all 3 guns hold 15 rounds, which I would say now it's a bit more of a comparison here. And now I want to say it is very close to the same length. So in the back, The 365 is shorter just because of the angle, and in the front, it's longer. And the Glock 48 didn't change in length. The magazine is the exact same size. So in my hands, the 365 is going to feel the smallest. My hands are not very big, and that's what it looks like. My fingers wrap most of the way around the grip, but it is very comfortable in my hands, just the way it feels. There's a little bit of a flare at the bottom here, which just kind of guides your pinky into the right place. It feels like it hugs it. I think that's the right word. It kind of hugs my hand really well. But it is a very small grip. It is narrow front to back, but it does feel really good. The Glock 48 in my hand, it's got a hump back here, and you can actually see with this plug, because I have a plug in here, it digs into my hand right here. So when I hold it, I can feel that little nub there. Now it's not uncomfortable, but I can definitely feel it. But you can see how much more of the grip you can see in here, which means you're going to be able to get your support hand in contact with it a lot better. I've been trying to work on my trigger control and my grip, taking a lot of pointers from Honest Outlaw, so I do appreciate the pointers that he gives. He's a really good shooter, although I am nowhere close to what he is. So this one gives you a little bit more area to get your support hand in contact. You can see with the 365XL, there is not much room in here. And even with my small hands, I can barely get any contact in there. The GX4 carry is the only one that has interchangeable back straps. I do run the smallest back strap on here because, again, small hands. And that is the most comfortable for me. And now you can see how much we have exposed right there. So you can get your support hand in there and get a better grip. I'd say that I can get the most contact with this one. I could get even more if I changed out the back strap, which I'm not going to, but I feel like I have good contact. It's got really good texture, but unlike the other two, it's got an extra space of texturing right here. Neither the Glock 48 or the 365XL have that, so you have a place to put your thumb to get a little bit more contact, and then I rest my trigger finger on the space on the other side. So I just feel like that is nice on this one. The best texturing are going to be on these two. The texturing on the Glock 48, I would not say it's bad in my opinion, but it is definitely more aggressive and grippy on these two. I would say that I like the texturing on the Taurus more just because of this added section up here. The Glock 48 could be fixed by stippling it, but I don't want to do that because it's time consuming and I don't hate it that much, but I know a lot of people do. As far as I would say the grip angle, when I go to present the Glock 48 and I drive it out and aim, the Glock 48 feels the most natural. It just points right out. I really like the feel of the Glock 48 the best when it goes to driving it out. As far as accuracy with iron sights, the Glock 48 I have been the most accurate with. Again, I admit I am not the best shooter in the world. As far as iron sights and handguns go, I've probably been the most accurate with this gun right here. I don't have a trigger gauge, plus I kind of find that boring of watching other people do trigger pulls, so I will just kind of try and describe the triggers to you. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that I feel like the 365XL has the worst trigger and the Taurus GX4 carry has the best feeling trigger. That's my opinion. Take it with what you will. So the 365XL trigger is a lot more spongy. So you have the take up and then it feels really mushy. And even the break, you can even hear, hopefully, it's got a nice solid reset, but hopefully you can just hear how squishy that break is. So it definitely does not have the best feeling trigger. Out of these three, it is the worst, but it's not the worst that I've ever felt. The Glock 48, I do have a different trigger shoe. I didn't change out any of the other trigger parts. I polished them, but I did not change them out. I just changed out the trigger shoe for something that it was just a little bit different. I don't like the dingus that's on the front of the trigger. I feel like it sticks out too much and it really bites into my finger. I know that it sounds like I'm whining, but if a gun is painful to shoot, you're just not going to shoot it to get the practice that you need with it. So there is something to it for not wanting a gun that's painful to shoot. So I did change out the trigger shoe. And we have the take up, and it's a much better break. It's still a little squishy is the way that I would describe it, but it's definitely more positive than the XL. So with the GX4 carry, I haven't done anything to the trigger. The only thing I did was Cerakote it and put a red dot on it. So the trigger is completely stock. So got the take up first, and it's just a lot more crisp of a break. So I like the trigger on this one the best. It does look a little funny in here in the trigger guard, but I do like this one the best. As far as the breakdown of them, the 365XL is the best. Move the magazine, we lock it back, we rotate the lever down, release the slide, and it comes off. No trigger pull, no nothing. I love that about the 365, that you do not have to pull the trigger in order to break it down. But I also like the fact that you have to bring the slide all the way back, because that forces you to clear it. With Glocks, I know there's been a lot of negligent discharges. I think that has to do with the less experienced people and not completely clearing their firearm before they break it down. But you do have to pull the trigger with Glocks. You gotta pull it back, bring the tabs down, and pull the trigger, and then the slide can come off. It's still not a horrible design for breakdown, but it's something to be noted. And last, the Taurus GX4 carry has the worst breakdown because you have to rotate this, I don't know, screw, flathead, using a flathead or something to stick in there. You have to rotate that 90 degrees. What I have found, it is easier to pull the trigger first and then rotate it, which releases the slide. But I don't like that you have to use a tool in order to do that. Breakdown, best, second best, third. Putting them back together is all fairly similar. You're just gonna put the slide back on and it automatically rotates back in and it's locked. The Glock, same thing. You're just gonna put the slide back on and it'll be ready to go. Now you gotta make sure that the spring is in the right spot because it had moved to there and it needs to be there. I don't know how well you can tell the difference, but it would not go back on. But it's back on, ready to go. The 365 takes one extra step over the other two. You got to bring it all the way back, and actually that time it just automatically rotated back in, and maybe it does it on its own. Most of the time I have to rotate it back in, so that's why I'm kind of thrown off right here, right now, and I'm just kind of playing with it. Okay, so that time it didn't, and then you just put it back. Slide release is easiest to manipulate on the GX4 carry, then the P365. The Glock 48 was the hardest. I do have a bit of an extended one. It's got a little nub on it, so that has made it easier. That one's the easiest. All right, the last thing that we will go over real quick is the cost. YouTube, I'm not selling these. I am just telling viewers about the price that I paid for these, and I do not have any sponsors, so please don't get all frowny. The GX4 carry, I paid approximately $330, and again, that was for the black Toro model, and then Cerakoted myself. The Glock 48 MOS, I believe, was $550. The non-MOS, I believe, is an even $5. And the P365XL, it was the model that came with the Romeo Zero, but it did not have the rear sight plate, and that one cost $750. As of this point, the only thing that I've had failures with is the Glock 48, and that was either ammo or magazine related, because I was testing out the PSA mags. That was the very first time I was using the PSA mags.
All right, so we're out here today with the first shots with the PSA mags. These are for the micro dagger, I believe, for the Glock 48. And we got 124 grain Norma. First failure. Second failure. Third failure.
But every time I've used them since, I have not had any issues. So there was a couple hiccups right off the bat, and I don't know if that was ammo, magazine, or me related. I wasn't able to narrow it down because I didn't really shoot it that much that day. Yeah, this is the only one that I've had any failures with. And it was definitely while I was using the PSA mags. So I'm not positive. So I'm hoping that kind of gave you an idea, the differences between the three. Unfortunately, I can't tell you which one to buy. If I had to pick just one, yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that. Each one of them has its own benefits. I enjoy shooting each one of them in their own way. I really wouldn't be able to tell you which one you should buy. I can't even tell you which one I should buy because I bought all three. So you can do what I did and buy all three, although I understand that finances can be an issue. Everything in life comes down to time and money. If you have the time, you don't have the money. If you have the money, you don't have the time. Lately, I've had the time and I don't have the money. So if you have any further questions, obviously leave them in the comments below. Also, have you seen my other videos where I have the fish tank in the background? Which setup do you like more? Do you like me being more in my office area, or do you like me in the kitchen with a little bit more room? I also try to do the top down on my desk, so that is a new one. Trying some different things here. If I can make it easier and faster to film, then I'm going to do it more often. It's difficult to motivate myself sometimes to record these videos and edit them. It's very time consuming with very little payoff. So, but anyway, we're going to wrap this up. I'm sure I've done enough rambling. That's it for this video. We'll catch you on the next project. See ya.